Ha! Welcome to Thunder Nerds. I'm Brian Hinton.
And I'm Frederick Philip Von Weiss, and thank you for consuming the Thunder Nerds, a conversation with the people behind the technology that love what they do.
And do tech good.
Boom! Yeah. Brian, where are we at? What are we doing?
I think we're in St. Pete.
St. Pete, what?
St. Pete, Florida, and we're at the Front End Design Conference, day 2. We've been interviewing all the speakers, and yeah.
It's a big anniversary. It's their
6th? Do you go 6 now? It's the 10th anniversary, 7th year at this facility, I believe it's the Palladium. And so, yeah, we've been talking to them all day. It's been great.
Yeah.
It's the second day in a row.
Second day in a row.
There's still time. You could see Chris Coyier.
Get down here. Watch Chris Coyier.
Hurry.
Hurry, get down here. Today we are talking with Eric Portis. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Hey, Eric. How's it going?
Hi, guys. Welcome. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you, man. Yeah. Did you already speak yet?
Yeah, I spoke earlier today on progressive image rendering and lazy loading images.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get into that, let's get a little bit of context about you. Can you tell our audience a little bit about you and what you do?
Sure. I work as a developer advocate at Cloudinary on the developer relations team. So Cloudinary does image and video management on the web. I fell into that job kind of because I got involved in standardization process behind the responsive images specifications.
Yeah, sure.
Got really frustrated about how responsive images were or weren't working on my website, and ended up getting involved in mailing list arguments, yada yada yada. You're writing a weekly newsletter for a standards organization, and someone's offering you a job. So that's kind of how I got into that role. I live in a kind of unique place on an island out in Puget Sound.
Oh, nice.
Out in the Salish Sea off the coast of Washington State.
Do you take a little tugboat over across the island?
I wish I had a little tugboat. No, I have to drive.
Is there a bridge?
There are no bridges.
Oh, really?
There is a ferry system.
Nice. I don't like that.
Well, that must be a little frustrating here and there, though, because you got to wait. Is it how long is the ride? An hour?
Ferries. We have a phrase. Ferries are going to ferry. They're going to do their ferry thing, and you can't really count on the ferry, but it's your only lifeline back and forth to the mainland. So we make this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about an hour.
So, are you into images because do you do photography or anything? Because you seem very focused on the image side.
So I got an art degree in college, and then worked for a fine art print shop.
Oh, cool.
In Denver, Colorado, for 10 years, and sort of had been in and out of doing web design as a hobby forever.
All right.
But took over all the web stuff for that print shop, and yada yada yada. Here I am working, speaking at a tech conference and working for.
So you went from you got an art degree, then you worked at a print shop, and then you got into dev. How did you get into dev? Where did that transition?
Yeah. So
was it the band?
It was the Portishead. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Wait, did you have a band named Portishead?
No, I didn't. Oh my god, no.
So many people we talked to transitioned from they had a band. So I was thinking print shop, he's making shirts for his band, and then the website. No, not that story. Okay.
No bands.
Okay.
No, I was sort of working on doing art stuff as my job, and then spending my nights and weekends thinking about responsive images and how that should work. And
doesn't everyone?
I know. And so somebody else who was involved in that effort, great guy Jason Grigsby, head of Cloud4 out in Portland. He was actually in Denver for a conference, and was like, "Oh, I want to meet you. Come out to dinner or whatever." And you're sitting down, and he said, "Eric, you're doing art as your job and tech as your hobby." He was like, "If you switch that around, it might
you can make so much more money, man."
No, some other life stuff happened, and at that point, we changed.
Sure.
Moved out to Washington State and got this job at Cloudinary, and it's been awesome.
Oh, that's great. And Washington is just beautiful.
It's unbelievable.
So do you work on the island and live on the island, or do you live on the island, work?
Yeah, I work in my pajamas in the bedroom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. In the second bedroom. I work remotely. My team at Cloudinary is all remote. We've got my boss is down here in Florida. There's another guy that's in San Francisco, but doesn't go to the Cloudinary offices in San Francisco. And then there's me, who's literally out on the island.
And what is Cloudinary?
So
it's a dev agency, or
no? So we're like a we're like an infrastructure services provider. So if you have media to manage on the web, we handle upload stuff, management, storage, delivery, and transformations.
Awesome.
So if you one of the obvious use cases for Cloudinary is if you want like something to manage, a place to store all your media, get it responsibly delivered really easily for free. That's, not always for free, depending on your scale.
Yeah.
But use Cloudinary. It's great.
Awesome.
So tell us a little bit about your talk. What about the images? Why are they always so lazy?
It's
that's lazy.
Well,
lazy.
see, the problem is that they're not lazy at all.
No, they're not.
Web browsers want to load images like immediately.
Give me all the images. Load everything at once.
There's no slacking at all.
Yeah.
So the talk was about the times when you might want to step in and like explicitly tell the browser to chill out a little bit.
Whoa.
And load the images later, whether that's because you have other content that you want to load first, or maybe you just don't want, you're not confident that everyone is going to scroll down your giant long page of 30 megabytes worth of images, and you don't want to serve up 30 megabytes of images to every user of the site.
So do you handle it then the approach where you have the container that fills the spot of the image and then
a skeleton?
Yeah, so that way you're not having the jarring experience of like suddenly, the image is loading now. Wait, I was scrolled down. That's the thing that always bothers me with some of the progressive solutions.
Yeah, once you, the first half of the talk was all about lazy loading.
Yeah.
And which is its whole set of problems. But then the second half of the talk, I talk about, when you're lazy loading, but sometimes even when you're not,
Yeah.
Images are big and heavy, and they're going to come in last. It's not lazy loading, right? So what are you going to do in between the time when like the rest of your layout is all there, and the time when the images sort of pop in?
You
Surprise!
Play a video, right?
Autoplay, just an ad. You find some Bitcoin. But yeah. So the second half of the talk was about progressive image rendering, which is what do you do with that in between time? And so I think the first thing that you want to do is reserve some space on the layout so there isn't that popping around and any of that layout jank. And then once you do that, you can start to play around with, what am I going to do with this space? Do I want to put like a gray box? Do I want to like pick out a predominant color from the image and make the box that color? Do I actually want to make like a really small, like kind of crappy version of the image and blow that out there and put it there? It's
a recommendation.
You know what?
I want to know what to do. I'm going to write this down.
Recommendation.
It depends.
That's always the answer.
It's always the answer. There's no magic bullets. The example I used in the talk happened to be an image. I showed a bunch of different techniques.
What's the color version?
There's one technique where you sort of try to pick out the edges of the main content and make a silhouette of it. Sort of that up as like an intro, and you end up getting something that's recognizable, not like how Medium does things where you just get a big fuzzball. But also it doesn't like look really low, like explicitly low quality, like you sometimes see with progressive stuff. But that technique only worked because the image was a pretty graphic looking image. Like if you had a photograph of like a sunset or whatever, I don't think that a silhouette would really do it.
Oh, well, how do you do the color? Because you don't have the image to get the color, are you like pre-configuring the color for that image?
Yeah, so if you want to do any of these things besides just a gray box, you need some kind of tooling to like figure out, to sort of extract the predominant colors or to create that really tiny, GIF image that you're going to inline in there to daddy or before you lazy load other stuff in, or people are doing the silhouette thing. There's also this library called SQIP. People are doing crazy stuff with SVG placeholders right now. It's a wide open field for experimentation.
SVG placeholders.
And it's been cool. It's been cool to watch. If I had to, everybody should go read articles by Jose Perez. Jose M. Perez has written more than anybody else on this topic of placeholders and progressive image rendering. I give him a big plug in the talk. The second half of it, it wouldn't be what it was without.
I'm writing it down.
That's going to be in the show notes.
So that was my talk.
You're going to put it in the show notes.
Oh, I am?
Yeah, you are. Okay. So what's kind of the big pain points? There's the obvious ones that we just discussed, but what are some of the bigger pain points that people might not think about right away?
So in the lazy loading part of the talk, I talk about, there on GitHub right now, if you search for lazy loader in JavaScript, there's almost 700 results. But I haven't found one that really handles what happens when that load fails.
That's a great point.
Again, you play a video.
Right. Well,
that's always the solution. Play a video.
That's the solution to every problem. So, I mean, because when you're lazy loading, you're kind of stretching the loading process out over time.
Yeah.
So if you had a functional network on the initial load, you might not later when you're lazy loading.
Like imagine you're driving around in your car and you have a cell phone. You go from having a signal to not having a signal.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then not just the signal comes back. Are you monitoring that and then trying to load the image back in? Things like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. Okay. So you can try to do some things in JavaScript, like put on error handlers on the image, or in no JavaScript environments you can have no scripts or whatever. And some of the libraries try to encourage you to do some of that stuff. But what I say in the talk is I really wish there was a library that instead of having your original markup be an image without a source, just used a link, just use an anchor element, right? So that if on the case that the load fails, the user has a recourse to click the link and see the image later, instead of me when I'm like reading a big old Medium article.
That's interesting.
And I lose connection. And, my only recourse is to reload the entire page.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
And then you lose your reading position, and half the image is probably not load because you're in a network connection.
Could you use some real examples about that? Like when would that be a practical use? Like having an image pop up, and it didn't load, and you add an anchor link, or maybe something else.
You could put a link in with the caption.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be the thing that you're upgrading. It could be, in a big caption or just around the image. I mean, I think, and on some recent projects I've been doing when I've used the existing libraries because they are really robust and are tested on like code that I'm going to try to write myself. I try to do that, like have some option that you give someone to say, like, besides loading the whole page, here's how to try again for this particular thing.
Have you found any resources out there? Like, as you said, there's like 700 of them out there on GitHub. Yeah. Have you found any one that you particularly care for more than the other?
So I highlighted two during the talk. One is Lazy Sizes by Alexander Farkas. And it's the most used one. It's got the most stars on GitHub, so that's good. It's tested.
I like stars.
I've seen Alexander's other projects. He's been sort of active in the responsive image space generally, and his work is awesome. And I know he's committed to the project, so it's not going to go away anytime soon. But most importantly, it lets you, if you're doing responsive images, not write the sizes attribute. You can just say you can say data sizes equals auto, and because you're lazy loading, it'll actually measure the sizes directly on the layout and fill that in for you, which is super awesome. I think that there's another library I talked about, which is much lighter and smaller. I think Lazy Sizes is like 15K or something. For 3K, you can get Y'all.js by Jeremy Wagner, and it's just like
I've heard of this one.
Super tiny, super targeted, and super smart. I mean, he's using a bunch of modern APIs to try to do as much work as possible in the background, be really unobtrusive. When you are using placeholders, he takes extra special care to make sure that there's not going to be a flash. When you have one image, you go to another. Getting work off the main thread and stuff. So that's another good one.
So you didn't exactly touch on how you did get into the image side beyond that you were doing the print and what got you into not suddenly, but starting to work on this stuff. I mean, was it the art background that got you interested in this specific topic, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've been tooling around on personal websites and stuff since.
GeoCities.
Since Mosaic, I don't know, forever. And so it's always been sort of in the back of my mind. But I started to get more serious about my own photography at a certain point, right around 2008, 2009, and I was also working at this print shop and managing their web store. So that was two big sets of images that I was trying to publish on the web.
So at that time, you're like, how can I do this? I hate how it doesn't do this, and how it takes forever to load, and it doesn't load, and And then
find out there's a whole community of people who are already upset about images and responsive design, and I could just join them and be angry with people instead of alone.
So how did your talk go? Did you feel it went well? Yeah. Any oopsies on your part? Or oh, the slide's gone, or your head completely goes blank? Or?
I think it went pretty well. I don't know. I talked to a couple of people at lunch, seemed to like it. People said it was at the right level.
Yeah.
I think some other conferences I've been to recently, I felt like I had the least technical talk. Everyone was a super performance nerd. and like talking about like I don't know like HTTP level stuff that I can like.
This is more design focused.
Yeah, and here after the talk yesterday, I was like, oh no, like I'm gonna have whole slides full of like CSS and HTML and stuff, and I'm kind of nervous about that. I don't know if it's gonna really fit in. But talking to people,
well,
like,
we understand it. We got it. No, I mean, I personally appreciate the talks that do focus on outside of design or thought processes in design. Having a few, I think it's good to have a few of the code-based ones here, and I feel like the organizers try and do that every year. There seems to be a few ones that are focused on specific things like that. We have the Vue Vue.js.
Yeah, exactly.
From what's his name, Belmont. We've talked to 24 people today. So,
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, Matthew, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm sorry, Matthew. But yeah, I'm so people understand it. But tell us a little more about you. Like, where are you originally from?
So I grew up in Urbana, Illinois, which is not an impressive place, except that it's where NCSA Mosaic came from.
Oh, that's cool.
Where what's his name? Brendan Ike? Yeah. No, not Brendan Ike. That's Mr. JavaScript. Who's the NCSA Mosaic guy? Mark Andreessen. Oh my God. Mark Andreessen was like a grad student. Within the NCSA and went off to found Netscape. And, I think it's a special kinship with the web there. I grew up there and just been slowly moving west my whole life, and now I'm about as far north and west as you can.
You're on an island, so I mean, you'd have to go to
a ferry there.
I mean, if you want to stay in the U.S., I think you'd have to go to Hawaii.
Hawaii
or Guam, I
guess. I feel like I'm gonna die in Guam.
Yeah,
most people do.
Yeah.
So, what do you? You're in a kind of a beautiful area over there. Do you explore the mountains a lot? Go hiking? Or?
I mean, try to. It's my wife and I recently invested in a canoe. So
so instead of using the ferry, do you like canoe across?
Oh, it would take a while. No, we're not quite on the like kayaking level yet.
Okay.
That's a huge thing out there. But yeah, we canoe out, canoe out around, look at the sunset from a different angle out there. Corral our dog into the canoe. That's always nice.
That's nice. Yeah, Florida, by the way, has amazing springs that you can kayak. You can just dive in. The water is crystal clear, and there's sinkholes and springs that come up, and you can just see all the way down to the bottom. And sometimes some of the locations, like Three Sisters is a nearby one where you can actually, there are hundreds of mantees that just come in, and you can like kayak and see them. It's beautiful. So if you ever come back down here on a vacation, I highly recommend that.
I can't wait. I like what I've seen so far between the hotel and nothing.
How long were you actually here for?
Not that long. I got in the night before.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just in New Orleans for a VueConf.
Oh, I love New Orleans. Yeah, I was actually just in New Orleans a few weeks ago for 4 days, which they have an open container policy, which
that's weird.
Way too much encourages you from going place to place carrying a drink, which means when you're there for a week and the 4th day comes, you're like, I don't really want to drink anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of the venues, the music hall,
you can't get in unless you drink.
Well, you can get in, but you can't stay. You can get you buy your drink, and then you're like, okay, I have my drink. Well, guess what? And that's set. You have to buy another drink, or you have to leave. So, yeah, they really kind of encourage drinking, which is weird, but it's a beautiful city. They really, it's nice to see that they've recovered from horrible stuff that happened over there.
I loved it. It's not like anything you get in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh no, it's a very unique feel, great food. Yeah, but how was your talk there? Do you do the same talk? Or?
No, that was an awesome conference because I didn't have to talk.
Oh, you didn't do a talk? Oh, okay. They didn't see you there and be like, hey, lazy loaded image guy, come on stage.
No. I just got to go and learn a lot about Vue, which was awesome.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool. You have any other questions, Freddie?
No.
Well, it was great. Really great talking with you.
Yeah. And how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah.
I am at ETPortis on Twitter.
Okay.
That's probably the best way.
I'm going to put a link in the show notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you go to ericforrest.com, you can see all my links everywhere. Go, look at pictures of me canoeing around.
Awesome. Yeah. I want to see this island too. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
See you
Thanks, guys.